It is. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice being
It's
on
good
your
to
show
see
again,
you.
listening to you again after.
It is. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice being
It's
on
good
your
to
show
see you.
again, listening to you again after. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Learn TV, and we are still on the soft skills webinar series. My name is Teresa Ode, and I'll be your anchor for this section. So the webinar series seeks to equip everyone with soft skills that are necessary to help you have a quick start in your career, entrepreneurship journey, education, business, or whatever experience you might be having at this time. And the Let's Learn TV webinar series is a good place to get information that will be necessary for every and any aspect of your life and your career. Today, I have with me Miss Mutiat Olagoke. Hello, Miss Mutiat.
Hi, Teres. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So if you were with us on Saturday, I'm sure you would have had an amazing time when we looked at communication on Saturday. And Miss Mutiat is here once again to take us on teamwork and collaboration. And for me, Saturday's section was really amazing, and I can't wait for her to dive into today's section. And so I want to encourage every one of us to please stay tuned. And in case you've not subscribed to Let's Learn TV, please do well to subscribe so you don't miss any of our amazing sections we'll be bringing to you. Okay, so we'll take a quick commercial, after which we would have Miss Mutiat start her section. Welcome back, everyone. And now we'll be going right into today's section that is on teamwork and collaboration. And I'll be handing over to Ms. Mutsiat Olagoke to take us on this section.
Thank you very much, Teres. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another I Like to Believe an Hour with me. I hope that this will be just as awesome as you expect. So today we're talking about teamwork and collaboration. And this is something that is very, very important to me personally, because the older you get, the more you come to realize that there were some things you believed about life that that's not the way it works. So for instance, I think that at some point in my life in uni, I thought, oh, I'm going to be independent of everyone. And so the goal was to be Miss Independent, don't rely on anyone, just do your thing yourself. Why? Because you didn't want anyone to break your heart. And consistently, people just don't show up enough that you just say, I don't need anyone, I'll do it myself. But the older I get, the more I realize that doing it yourself is a myth. It is a myth. You can't go through life. You can't win at life having to do everything by yourself. By nature of human beings, we are wired to rely on each other. We're wired to be social. We're social beings, so we're wired to rely on each other. And one of the things you must recognize to thrive in your life, in anything, is that you must come into the awareness of the fact that we're not created to be solo at anything. Well, maybe it's just simple and it's less heartbreaking, and it's just simple to do it yourself and be on your own. But what kind of life would you make by doing that? So if you truly want to thrive as a human being and you want to thrive in your workplace, you need to understand that working together is the way we are wired. We're structured. No human being is created to be everything, to be omnipotent, to know everything, to be able to do everything. There's a bit of a lack in all of us, so that by the time we all come together, we make a big puzzle. And that's what the conversation today is going to be about teamwork and collaboration. Understanding that because we are not, as much as we are complete in our own self, to thrive and navigate the world, there's something in us there's something missing in us that will be present in other people. And the only way for you to succeed is to find and collaborate with those people. So that's what the conversation is about today, teamwork and collaboration. So we begin. And the first slide says, teamwork is efficient work. And that's true from what I just said. You know, there's this quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together, go with a group of people. If you would like to, I want to get there quickly, yes, go by yourself. But if you really want to make impact, you want it to have value, and you really want to succeed on that journey beyond just moving from point A to B, you need a group of people. Because along the road, these different people come up with things that just make the working a lot more effective than moving from point A to B. So let me give you an example. This morning, I went on my morning walk. So I do a 3-kilometer walk every day, and I'm trying to beat my pace. And yesterday, I made 15 seconds less than I usually do, and I was so excited. But today, at 500 meters, or thereabout, 600 meters thereabout, so there was another lady that was working. And then and then she passed me. And I was like, no, how can she pass me? Am I walking slower? And then I started to follow her. In fact, at some point, I was following her technique. I was like, okay, she doesn't look like she's putting so much effort into it, but she's still working faster than I am. What's going on? So I started to follow her technique, and we worked together till we got to the 1.5 meters mark, and I had to come back so that I could make 3 kilometers, and she kept working. I don't even know if this lady knew that we were working together, but we were working together. And I got home, looked at my time, and I realized that I beat yesterday's pace by 30 seconds. And the only thing responsible for it was because that lady was walking beside me and I was using her pace, I was using her technique. And the fact that she was there, she was inspiring me. She was telling me that I am walking slowly. Even though she didn't tell me, but I was using her to compare my pace. And I was able to beat my own record by 30 seconds. And that's a personal record for me in 5 years of working, doing money works. So that's a picture of what teamwork can do for you. It is efficient work. It gets you to do better. It gets you to work better. And how do we define? So in a workforce, at a workplace, you basically teamwork enables a workforce to split difficult tasks into simpler ones, and then everybody works together to make it happen. So for instance, we are cooking lunch. I'm the only one here. I want to make edikaikon. I want to make swallow. Oh my, I would like that we have juice. And then I'm having to do that by myself. So imagine if there were 5 more people around. Somebody is sweeping the floor. Somebody is focused on making the edikaikon. Somebody is focused on I'm focusing on the swallow, while another person is working on the juice. I would probably take 3 hours to do all of this. But with a team of 5 people, we could have this done in an hour. That's the power of teamwork. When you think of teamwork, don't think of all the ways that people will get in your way. The essence of teamwork is to simplify tasks and to efficiently do it, basically, to do it efficiently with, and how do we measure efficient work? A lot of times it's about how much time it took. So if you're good at dressmaking, but you took a whole month to make it, and then somebody can make the same dress in 2 weeks, do you think I'll come to you? No, unless I have a dress that I don't want to wear in the next 6 months. Well, who really makes a dress that they don't want to wear as soon as possible? So that's teamwork enables a workforce to split difficult tasks into simpler ones. Then they work together to complete them faster. Faster is quite important because we live in a world with a global economy that moves at the speed of lightning. And so every workplace is trying to use whatever resources that they have to beat time, basically. All of us have 24 hours to do so much. And the most successful are the ones who are able to use certain tools to achieve that. And teamwork is definitely a tool that is works for them. So the Forbes magazine, for instance, says that the new generation of employee not only thrives in highly collaborative workplaces, but it is now making this a key requirement in selecting where to work. So even young people in a place that let them thrive within the team. Because here's the truth. I'm good at talking, I'm good at writing, I'm talking about soft skills, but there's some things I'm terrible at. For instance, I'm not good at writing with my hands. So if I need to work, we need a communication expert around. They say, you're going to be the one to do everything. I can't take that job because I cannot do everything. I am amazing at coming up with ideas, aligning the strategy, identifying, profiling the audience, and all of that. But if I'm going to do the hard work of using the pen to do a certain thing, I'll pass. So for me, I would definitely thrive in a group where I can do the talk and there'll be the people to do certain hard work, people who would do the work. It just makes it easier for you to be able to leverage and focus on your strengths. When you're in a team that is dynamic, when you are in a workplace that allows you to be part of a very dynamic, functional teamwork process. So the next slide. So basically, you can define teamwork is the joint action of people working together towards the same goal. Now, this is where we need to say that just because you are in a team doesn't mean that teamwork is happening. And this one is a fact in workplaces around the world. Just because we have a team doesn't mean that teamwork is taking place. Now, what does it mean for teamwork to take place? It's for all of you in that team to recognize that teamwork is a joint action of the people working towards the same end goal. So you cannot be in a team and your own goal is to stand out and be the boss. And that's all you are all about, to stand out, to be the one to stand out. Yes, standing out is key. Here's the truth. You don't have to deliberately do everything to stand out above all the other person. If you're doing your part in the team, you will stand out, because it's not even easy. It's not easy to cope in a team, because as much as being in a social entity is very human, there's also something about our nature that just goes against it. So we're like a pool of, as much as coming together is good for you, there's still some of us that by nature, we just don't want to come together. And of course, usually there are a lot of things that are responsible for that. And I believe that that's what we have next. But before we get to what are the things responsible for teamwork not working for some people, we would continue by saying that the strength of a team comes from supporting each other, communicating well, and doing your share. That's the strength of a team. Communication has to be correct, and everybody in the team must do their part. It is annoying that we are in a team and some people just want to hide behind somebody's skirt and they will not do anything. That's not going to let that teamwork last. It will not let teamwork to thrive if you are not willing to do your part. When I was in secondary school, I went to a boarding house, and there were just some people like that. They think that it is smart for them to put off their own work on other people. We are adults now, and adulting requires that you carry your share. You do your own responsibility. So as a part of a team, you must recognize that the strength of that team, the success of that team, is dependent on effective communication between all of you in the team or within the team, and everyone doing their share. Everyone doing their share. Because some people will go home and say, the most important thing is that somebody does it. No. The most important thing is that all of us have it done. So it's not like somebody does it, because at the end of the day, you realize that it's one particular person who's carrying the burden of everyone. If they're giving all of you 5 people in a team a job, the job is meant for 5 people. By the size of the job, it is going to be meant for 5 people. Now, if 2, 3, or 4 people decide, don't worry, Muti is the good girl, she'll do it. You're leaving to Muti the job of 5 people. By the nature of that, the imbalance of it, the entire project may end up flopping, because no matter how superwoman Mutiat is, I mean, she has a limit. And the truth is that a lot of times, when the teams are being put together, certain characteristics and skills are being looked at. Oh, Mutiat is amazing as a spokesperson. She's going to be our spokesperson. Oh, John is awesome at drafting copies, so he's going to draft a copy. Oh, Kende is an amazing graphic designer, and she's going to do the graphics. So all of you that decide that you're too busy to do it, and Muti is going to be the spokesperson, she's still going to be the copywriter, she's still going to be the graphic designer. There will be, it will show the quality of work would definitely not be at par with if all of you have brought your strength to the team. So you must recognize that it's not just we're in the same team and somebody should do it. No, it's not about that. It is about all of us bringing our strength together. Other characteristics that will define your team is that you have similar skills, autonomy, leadership is well defined, your roles are defined. And at no point would there be that everything should be done by one person. Then whoever is defining the role needs to edit and review it. Your leadership must be defined. A lot of times, all of you would think that, oh, because we are all mates, nobody can be a leader. What do you mean? What do you mean you want to be leading us? Is it that you're older or you're smarter? It's not the same time all of us got a job. No. By our nature as human beings, we're designed, we are wired to be led. It's not that whoever is leading is better. No, It's just that if you don't define the leadership, there will be chaos, and that's it. There will be chaos, because who's going to monitor who does what? Who's going to keep up the KPIs? Who's going to be following? Somebody has to have eyes on the prize, on the goal, reminding all of us, because at some time when we're busy in doing our roles, our eyes will be off the target. Somebody has to be the control, who reminds us that there's a goal. This is not aligning with a goal. Somebody has to be the one checking the deadlines, who's following up what. There has to be a leader. Somebody has to be the one starting the conversation at every meeting. Because if we are all going to wait for nobody to start, then nobody will start. So it's not about you're older than anybody or somebody's older. Why is he always feeling like, no? If someone has a natural tendency for leadership, or somebody has a natural tendency to influence people, it has nothing to do with they're better than you or not. All of us have our natural tendency. We have our natural talent. And somebody whom you know in your heart would get the job done. Some people, their talent is to persuade people. They are amazing at persuading people. If you think you will not do it, they will not fight you. But they are amazing at persuading people. You want those kind of people as team leader, because you know that no matter how crazy the moody person is, this person has the ability to persuade them out of that mood for however long it will take for them to get the job. So why don't you want that person as a leader? And because you will not be feeling is bigger. No, remember that your job as a group is to get a goal, to reach a target, to meet a target. So it doesn't matter how he is feeling. That's the last thing you need to think about right now. When you meet the goal first, you can come back and say, what's doing you? Why is your head swelling? But the goal must always be bigger than everybody's ego. Otherwise, the team won't work. There won't be any teamwork. So the next slide. So what are the factors that affect teamwork? Factors that tank teamwork. So number one is forcing collaboration. Forcing collaboration. People don't want to be forced to do anything. Even though I said that people were wired to be led, we also don't want anybody forcing us to do anything. So it's something that they reset. So you, as a manager, for instance, you realize that me and somebody are not talking. And you now say, by fire, by force, I want them to talk, put them in the same team. And 2 weeks later, no job is done. It is on you. It is on you, because the only reason where you compile a team should be people, shouldn't be to prove a point. I want them to talk. Is that the goal of the project? Is for us to talk. Then send us to a mediation program. But if the goal is to achieve something, and these two people just don't get along, not because they're bad people, they just don't get along. There's no point putting them in a group. There's no point. So one of my sisters wants to organize a program, and then she comes to me and says she wants to put me in a group with somebody that I'm not particularly being friendly with of late. And I told her that I don't want to join. I wasn't shy about it. I don't want to join. I said, why not? No, please, now do it for me, please. And I was like, I can't do it for you. It is not about you. It isn't about you. It's about me and this person and how we don't seem to work well together. So it's not about anything. So one of the things that I had to do, so I was in a group for maybe like 1 week, and she came back and said, oh, you're not talking on the group now. Nobody seemed to be talking on the group. I told you now that I didn't want to join the group. I'm not the petty person, but I worked with somebody and I realized there's no point for anybody to force. There's no point for anyone to force any. And there's no point for anybody to force collaboration. It wasn't working. It didn't work. It didn't work. The group is still there, but it didn't work. So the next slide is a bad team history. And I could use the last experience to talk about a bad team history. We had a bad team history. We had a bad collaboration history, and I don't know what the person think about me. I need to think about myself, and I say to myself, I can't work with this person. Maybe we can work on some level that doesn't require so much getting into each other's face, but there are a lot of very bad things that happened in that can't, no, I'll let it pass. As much as I'll say, oh, you don't lose an opportunity. It's an opportunity that I'm willing to let pass. And so as a manager, or even as a person, you must understand that if you force collaboration without mediating or getting to the root of what the problem is, the teamwork at a project may not work. Bad team history is as another example. Last time they worked together, they didn't work well. They had a negative experience working together. Until they are able to resolve whatever led to that bad team history or negative experience, putting certain people together will still get the same result. So it is best for you to determine the reason as quickly as possible. What happened the last time? What could we have done better the last time? What led to it? Oh, maybe it's not because these two people are terrible or these two people can't work together. It could be the context. It could be certain circumstances. You need to all get to the bottom of it before you put, otherwise you continue to have challenges. Poor relationships, that's also similar to the last one. So you find that relationships and experience are very key in successful teamwork projects. So poor relationships, people who they don't have any relationship. It's just like getting two people who had a bitter divorce, and everybody knows that every time they meet each other, it's a miracle that they are not stabbing each other. And you say, we want to do a project, the two of them will lead the project. Or people that are obviously not their competitors, they are not having, how do I explain that? I don't work in a workplace that allows that kind of toxicity. Everybody have to finish their fight before they close, before they leave for work. But in a situation whereby it's just complex, the poor relationships, the people have terrible relationship with each other outside and within work, then it will have a big effect on your teamwork as a team, as a company. So if you don't work on that relationship, the success that you can achieve with teamwork would definitely not be there. So the next slide, ineffective meetings. Now this one, this one is the bane of all our existence. So they call for a meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I'm asking, please, what is the motion moving forward? And you find out that you attend 2, 3, 4 meetings and no motion was concluded, nothing was passed on to anybody to do. We've just spent 2 hours of our lives talking and arguing and going round about until somebody says, oh my God, it's time for lunch, and then everybody goes for lunch, and that's it. And this is why you need a leader who has a eye on the goal. And this is also why you need to have structure. Because when meetings without structure can cause staff to have conversations that spin without purpose. People will just speak, toilet roll, the last time we bought toilet roll, and then they go on and on and on, and somebody forgot that we're actually in this meeting to talk about bottle of water. The toilet roll thing happened because water spilled. But it seemed like for the past 1.5 hours, the only thing we can talk about is toilet roll. And there seemed to be nobody to get us back to the main purpose. And so that's where leadership comes in. That's where putting a structure comes in. Do all the meeting that doesn't have an agenda of what to achieve, doesn't have a set goal. It's teamwork. It will not work that way. Teamwork works around a lot of structure, understanding what are we sitting for. So I have some people that will come and say, I should come into a meeting in their office. So my office is in Ikeja. I'm supposed to show up in your office in Surulere. And then I have obliged them a couple of times. And I'll go for that meeting. These are meetings we can have on the WhatsApp group. I can't come all the way from Ikeja to sit in a 2-hour meeting, and then we didn't conclude on anything. Next 2 meetings, we're still in circles. And I made it clear, I won't come to a meeting unless it is important that I be in the meeting physically. Because there's no point. What are we doing? We can have this conversation on Zoom. We can have it on WhatsApp. We can have it over the phone. Because at the end of the day, we just waste months and weeks not achieving anything as a team. So much so that before you know it, a few people are bored, they're off, they've gone. Because it wasn't going anywhere. Some people just say, oh, they're wasting my time. And consciously or subconsciously move along. And here we are. You see yourself 2-3 weeks after you're supposed to meet your deadline and nothing has been achieved. And then another point is that little transparency or inadequate information sharing. Now, this one is for those people who are there. It can be as a result of a lot of things. It could be as a result of people not trusting each other. It could be as a result of barriers such as, someone wanting to stand out because there's promotion in 3 months. It could just be as a result of lack of motivation or lack of information, lack of motivation or lack of trust. I think that's it. So when you have team members whose work depends on that of other team member, barrier. Particularly a lot of times when people are in different departments or there are different teams, and people will now like us versus them. All of us are here together. All of us are in it together. At no point should you think that somebody is against you or not against you. If you don't share information, you're not going to achieve your goal. And it's not going to be a successful team. Another thing is the no team governance process. And I think I've talked about this when I say when there's no very clear leadership or any clear approach to leadership, there's no governance process. Everybody's just doing whatever they like. Is the best person to get there that is going to start the team. Who's the secretary of the team? Anybody that has a pencil is the secretary of the team. Did you bring your data? I did not bring it. Who brought data? Me. Okay, you write it today. And you've had 3 meetings with 3 different for the meeting for week 3. And then they say, we can't remember. Oh, it was Teres. Oh, Teres did not come that day. Oh, Teres came. And we can't, there's no, all of us are just everywhere. Have standards of communication and behavior and are able to settle disputes. So there must be a process. When there's an argument, when things are not working, what are the approaches to get it to work? Is everybody
Hello, Miss Mutiat.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I was saying that one of the things, okay, good. I was saying that one of the things that will be responsible for a team not working is when there is no team governance process, where there's no process on how things should be done. There are no standards for how you communicate or how you behave. In case of a dispute, there's no structured plan on how to settle the dispute. Everybody just do whatever everybody wants to do. And that's not the way it should be. Because as we are human beings and all of us are different and we have different perspectives to life. And it will be chaos or chaotic to have everyone come on board with their own perspective. It's going to be chaotic. In a team of 10 people, to now say all 10 of you must share your opinion and then we will use it. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's going to be disastrous because not all your 10 ideas is going to be relevant for us to achieve the goal. And so we must come into the awareness of which of the factors would help, which of the perspective will help us reach the goal faster. And so if there's no structure, no communication standards, no behavioral standards, no nothing, no dispute or conflict resolution standards, definitely teamwork is going to fail. So the next one, and the next point is conflicting styles of decision making. And this is something that's also key. Like I said, there are different perspectives. All of us have different perspectives at life. We have different models of the world. We look at the world differently. We see things differently. So in fact, it's so bad that some
Hello, Miss Mutiat.
network is going on and off. So conflict. So the next thing that would affect the success of your teamwork is conflicting styles of decision making. All of us are different. We have different perspectives at life. We look at the world differently. We look at problems differently. The way I think we should solve the problem is different from the way Teresa wants the problem to be solved. Maybe both ways. Both ways may get us to the goal, one faster than the other. But imagine if the two of us insist that you must try my own, try Teresa's own, try Ibrahim's own, try Mr. Musa's own, try Moses' own. At the end of the day, we will not get anywhere. So people process information differently. Some people process information quickly and are able to respond with an answer right away. Some people need time to process it. So for instance, that's me and my business advisor, for instance. Me, if you say it, I'm like this, I have the answer, I give it to you. Now, this man, on the other hand, doesn't give answers immediately. But it doesn't mean I'm smarter than him, because the time it takes to look at the issue, by the time he's coming with the solution, woo, I will be like, what? I didn't even see it that way. I didn't even know it can go this way. And I think that before I understood that that was his own way, I used to think, why is this person slow? What is this now? How long am I going to wait for you? And why that used to really, really affect our teamwork is that I just go ahead and do it because I cannot wait. I'm not a waiting person. And then by the time I do the nonsense that I want to do, the quality idea comes and it's almost too late. So for me, it has to be, I had to learn, and then we both had to learn a middle. Chat needs the answer in 30 minutes, sir. please, could you process it faster than 24 hours? And by the time we found the middle, and then sometimes it just makes sense for us to wait a couple of days before we do anything. And we've been able to do some quality work together in understanding that our conflicting styles of decision making. And a lot of people have wrecked relationship and work relationship because of conflicting styles of decision making. Some people have even gone to insult their teammates because of it. So some people say, oh, the guy doesn't think fast. I'd like people to think fast. Another person will go, he's always jumping into stuff. But it's not that. Neither ways, I don't think either ways is wrong. It's just the way we are. We are all different. And if we are able to understand that, so ideas that need time, somebody who can take time to think about it, give it a couple of days to come up with the correct idea. Then we give it to that person who does that. But if we need an answer now, oh, let's come with that ASAP. So just understanding that. Or as a team, we also have to come together to find a middle. You can't take 24 hours and then you cannot think about it in 5 minutes. It has to be deep. And then you find a middle for everyone. And all of us can understand that this is the middle. And the middle, what does the middle really mean? The middle is you having an organization template, a leadership template that like I said the other time, is just about having so it's just about having a business, a team governance procedure. There's a team base. All answers should be submitted at latest 2 hours after the question was asked, and everybody knows it. So whether you're a fast thinker or a slow thinker, you need to find a way to make that 2 hours window work. So, and that way, decisions, even though all of us have different styles of decision making, it will not disrupt or frustrate us in a team. Then behind the scenes conversation and processes is another thing that can affect your teamwork. So after the meeting, some people now go to one corner. They are now turning everything we said upside down. They are now saying their own. What's my business? What they said. Don't mind that. See the way she was doing. Don't mind that. That's not what I'm going to do. You're going to destroy the team and the success of it. We're having a meeting on WhatsApp. Some people are already doing a back talk in their PM. That's not healthy for teamwork. If you have any reservation about what is being said, send it to the group. Send it to the group. Don't go back door and be saying, because Teresa is my friend, let me first tell Teresa first. A lot of groups are losing their significance and relevance because a couple of people do that, particularly the people in leadership will now go back and be meeting some people that are loyal to them and be doing it at the back. No, you must watch your behind the scenes conversations. They are very important. They can erode the success, the trust, and the confidence of your team, and of course, the success of it. You must watch it. All this one that after work, all of you are going on from Ikoyi to Bagada, you were talking about one person on your team, and that person, that conversation, I'm going to get out of that car and tell myself, if they can talk about this guy for 2 hours, if I'm not in that car, they will talk about me. And that's it. It has started. And by the time everybody loses trust in each other, working together, the work that brought all of you together will not matter anymore, because you've lost trust in yourselves as individuals and confidence. Another thing that would affect your teamwork is competition. Competition is the opposite of collaboration. And I need you to go write that down somewhere. If you, or every office that thrives or that is very particular about teamwork should actually have a wall frame that says competition is the opposite of collaboration. It is important that you recognize that we're not here to compete with each other. All of us are here to work. We're not here to compete with each other. We're here to work to achieve a goal. if you compete with each other, you would, after a while, the goalpost will change. So if you are a manager that you say, no, I like the way they are competing, let them be competing. You're thriving on their competition. Eventually, it will stop working. If you think letting them compete with each other is going to promote their motivation to the task, after a while of continuously competing with each other, they will start, the competition will become the goal. So if the competition is helping you achieve your goal, after a while, it will play too, and then the competition will become the goal. And when the competition becomes a goal, there's a problem because the main goal is already suffering. So when you're in a team, forget about it. The only time you're allowed to compete is if you're having, what's this thing that we used to have before Corona came? This team, you're having a team hangout and you want to do relay. But at work, when works need to be done, when a business needs to be built to scale or taken to the next level or compete globally, all of us are in it together. We are all in it together. And lastly is poor ownership. Poor by the team members. One main tenet of developing a collaborative group is that you develop buy-in from the team. Everybody on the team
Hello, Ms. Mutiat.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I just started hearing you, but I lost you for a while.
Poor ownership or engagement among team members. You don't want to build that team where some people say, yeah, what's my own concern? It's not my father's company. It's not my team. I don't like the team. This is not my team. No. Everybody on the team must buy into it. You must recognize that no matter how little you do, it contributes to the success of the team. And no matter how small you don't do, it also affects the team. And so it's key that you work on collaborating together. Everybody buys into it. You are probably in a team for how many months? Give it everything. Embrace the team. Otherwise, teamwork and all the advantage of teamwork will not work on that project. So one main tenet of developing a collaborative group is that you develop buy-in from the team. Everyone, the manager must ensure that everybody understands why we're here and they buy into it. Because buying into it and helping the team achieve its goal is a win for all of us. It's a win for all of us. Should I continue or do we go on a break?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Should I continue or we go on a break?
No, please continue. Continue.
Okay, so this is the last part, getting it right. So I was talking about all the things we do wrong. So this time around is about how to get it right. To get it right, the ideas are not that plenty, probably like 5. Number 1 is that you must build trust among your team members. Trust is key. You must trust. Don't be like, if I give them the idea, they will now steal the idea. They will now not know it's me that have the idea. The idea will now not be my idea. It will not be their idea. Somebody now, no, please. Build trust. Trust is important. It's probably the very key that you have confidence in your team member. When we leave the table, I trust you that you will do your part. Before the next meeting, you will deliver. I'm on some teams that there's some people that are there. In my head, I don't count on them to show up, particularly in volunteering, teams that include volunteers. I remember that in the beginning of my business, as a small business, you don't have a lot of resource to pay people to show up and do stuff. And I was relying on volunteers. And after the volunteers, they don't show up. Like, I would volunteer for programs and show up and I thought that was how the rest of the world was. And I learned it the hard way. They don't show up. They won't even tell you why they didn't show up. They won't ever think that they should even give an excuse because, hey, I'm volunteering. And so I lost faith in working with volunteers. So I started to say, okay, there's some core part of my business that I cannot rely on volunteers to do. So I had no choice, started to build system and employ people that can show up. So if I need volunteers now, even now, where we have an event that we know that we could use volunteers, I already have a plan A, a plan B, C with my core staff to fill in the space these volunteers are, because I will have trust in them. Because I've come to realize that an average young person doesn't share certain values that work. So they don't have certain soft skills, and they don't have certain values that work in a workplace, that let the workplace thrive. And it could be one of the reasons I'm very passionate about teaching soft skills. But, and this is probably a conversation for another time, but if you're in a team and I can't trust you in that team, then what are we doing? So one of the first things you want to work on is trust among the members. All your team members must be able to trust each other. And trust doesn't mean that, oh, I trust that guy with my money. Basically, I trust, well, yeah, but I can trust this guy with my time. I can trust this guy that is going to show up. Oh, I'm supposed to work with this person. I trust him to do, trust them to, I am comfortable in being vulnerable, because a lot of times when in a group, you share your vulnerability, you open your mouth sometimes even you will say, hey, I sound foolish. But I know that my team members will never call me foolish. They understand that being foolish is part of the process. That's also trust. But in a team where you're afraid to make a mistake, so nobody talks, and it's like, oh yeah, no talk now. But everybody has an idea, because that's a lack of trust. You don't trust your team members. And that's a shame, because if you can't share ideas, then what can you share? Number 2 is to prepare to engage in a debate around ideas. You must be prepared to engage in the debate around ideas, because I'm not going to look at the world the way you look at it. This is blue. To some people, it is navy blue. To me, it is just blue. I don't know whether it's navy blue or shine blue or anything blue. It's just blue. But if I am in a team where we need to write a copy to sell the scarf, I'm going to have to listen. I won't just insist, blue is blue, oh, blue is blue, oh, you people have come again, oh, blue is blue, oh. No, you must have effective listening skills. You must be ready to engage. Although let somebody say, are you sure it's blue? Okay, sorry, I don't know it's blue. I give up. No, you shouldn't give up. You should be ready to fight for your idea. Explain yourself. Some people will be in a meeting and you say that explain further. No, I don't want to explain. No, if you don't understand it, you don't understand it. None here. That's not how it works. It's a team. Just because somebody asks for clarity doesn't mean that they're criticizing you. It doesn't mean that they're saying you're wrong. What it means is that they want clarity. And if somebody says, I don't agree, it's not an attack on your person. They don't agree because they don't agree. It has nothing to do with you. Don't make it seem like it's everything I say that you don't agree. To be raised to the next level, you must be ready to debate it. You must be ready to accept. When they say no, let's go with plan A, don't come and say, every time I say something, It's not about what you said. It's about the best decision for the group. And you must learn that. Learn to commit to decisions and plans of action. You must learn to commit to decisions. And I keep saying this, you must show up. You must do your part. You must learn it. Commitment is hard for some people. Some people don't have self-motivation from here to the kitchen. They don't know how to commit. They don't know how to commit to anything. Even they say, oh yeah, yes. And then they are the one that will say, I have people that will say, oh, I'm going to do a show on Wednesday. And then I do a poster. We are already posting it everywhere. This person is going to come and do a live talk on Wednesday. And then on that Wednesday, 3 hours to go, I can't do it again. I am busy with other things. You cannot be busy with other things. You should not be busy with other things. You shouldn't, because you committed to it. You must see it through. And for some people, it's not because accident happened or there's an emergency. They just woke up that morning and say, I'm not in the mood. There are people who would say, I'm not doing it again because their mood has changed. And then you'll be like, but you committed to it. And when I say I'm not doing it, am I not the one that committed to it? It's me that say I'm not committing again. No. As a part of a team, you cannot have that attitude to life. You can do that if it's your own thing. You can wake up in 2 days to your wedding and say you're not doing it again. You can decide to tell your customer that I'm not selling again. Whatever it is. If it's done yours, don't come and say you can't question me. You can't question me. We can't question you, because if you don't do your part, it affects the success of the group. So we can question you, and we will question you. So, finally, another thing that you must put in place in order for your team to be awesome and your teamwork is that you should focus on achieving collective results. Focus on achieving collective results. It is not about you. It is not about me. It is not about anything. It is about the goal, the success of the group, the results that we all achieve together. Together, we can do big things. So focus on achieving collective results. Collective here is the operative word. We're doing this together. All of us achieve this together. Don't come and say, I shall do it on behalf of the group. Only me did it, but I'll put all of their names there. Don't put anybody's names there. Nobody asked you to do it. It's a group work. It's a teamwork. And we all learn to be better versions of ourselves when we continue to work together and thrive together. Teamwork is an amazing exercise of the body and the soul for a human being to be able to thrive within a group, even when everything inside of him is pulling away. You to thrive and also be independent within the group without relying completely. There's some people that they can't do anything unless there are other people there. They are not motivated to work unless there are people there. No, you should be able. They need teamwork to be micromanaged. They need to always be in a team so that somebody will be there to be pushing them. No, that's not what we're saying. A group is supposed to leverage on your strengths. We're supposed to leverage on everybody's strengths and cover everybody's weakness. It's not like you now come without no strengths. You don't have any value. You don't add any value to the collective results. You must add value. Everybody's value counts. The more the values we're able to bring to the table, the better we are. I particularly always say that Nigeria together with 360 ethnic groups is a lot better than Nigeria with one. I mean, we can take about all the advantages. Look at how strong the outside is. No matter how thin they are, they carry these big things. And they have the places where they're striving. They're amazing. They're feeding the country. Yoruba people are intellectual. The people from the East are very sporty. All of us have something that we bring to the table. And while the Northerners are feeding us with the farms and all of the hard work they're doing, and then the Yoruba people have been diplomatic and in deep, even the Northerners too are there. And then you can rely on the Easterners to represent us well in sport and vision and say, oh, the Nigerian dream. That's the Nigerian dream, being able to come together and collaborate despite our differences. So teamwork, there's an advantage of coming together with all of our strengths and covering each other's weaknesses. But if you just want to be the weakest link, remember that a team is as strong as its weakest member. A team is as strong as the weakest member, because as a weak member, you can just spoil all the hard work of everybody with your nonsense. So it's key that you come into it realizing that it's about collective results and doing your part to achieve it. So in conclusion, I would say the same thing I said in the beginning. Teamwork is efficient work, and it is something that is very important in practically every aspect of our lives. Working together in your communities, as team to protect yourselves. Remember when the security situation got very terrible during the COVID lockdown, a number of communities were able to keep themselves safe because they came together and formed a vigilante team. Imagine if only one person had done that. It wouldn't have worked. But having the entire neighborhood come together and make up shifts to look after each other, they were able to protect themselves, their properties, and their lives. That's the kind of power, that's the kind of strength you get with coming together. And you can imagine that same scenario even at work. The same thing all of us can achieve in 10 hours individually, you can have it done together in an hour or two as a team. So teamwork is efficient work, and you must do everything to make it thrive wherever you find yourself, in whatever team you find yourself. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Wow. Thank you so much. I mean, this has been such an insightful section, very insightful, very educative, very enlightening. And thank you, Ms. Mutsiat Olagoke, for this amazing section. So before we come back for the question and answer, we'll be having a quick commercial now. So thank you, our audience, for staying with us for this time that we've been here. So we'll quickly go for the commercial, and when we're back, we'll take the questions, and it'll be a wrap for today. And we're still having Ms. Mutsiat here. So we have a question here for you, Ms. Mutsiat. And the question says, do we have to stay, do we have to forcefully bear a collaboration in a team? Do we have to?
I mentioned that.
Okay.
In fact, that's the first thing I mentioned about things that can wreck collaboration, is when you force it. In a situation where you don't have a choice, these people have to work together. Some people are in workplaces. See, all of us at every workplace are collaborating. And so it is key that there's a culture that allow people to actually, what's the word? There's a culture of great interpersonal skills within the workforce. However, in a situation where you have options, do not force it. Do not force it, otherwise you won't get results. So if you recognize that the collaboration will be forced, that the fact that there's pairing two people up is going to cause a problem. It means that there's a problem that the management needs to solve first. The management needs to solve it first before they pair them on a project. Whether you're going to get the two of them to go see an anger management somebody or something, or sit them down and have it, whatever is going on, put them in a therapy session and let them do their problems, but that you would ignore and continue like that. Didn't they know that they work together? If human beings are not robots, we are not programs that you can, I'm sure if you have a conflicting program, it still won't work. So much less, imagine having a Google app on an iOS device. It won't work. So it's the same thing, pairing two people up. As much as you like to say they are human beings, they should know. And what are they doing? What did they come to work to do? We must also recognize that our output as human beings has a lot to do with the input, what is in us. And that's why soft skills are big deals, because what is in you is going to show. When you're angry at somebody, no matter how much you try to smile, the smile will not enter your eyes, no matter how you try. For some of us, me, when I'm angry, I can still smile and reach my eyes. But my body language gives it off eventually. And so when people you want to force it, it means there's a lack of trust, there'll be a lack of confidence, and then somebody will be hiding ideas, and then people will be having back talk. It will just, the whole thing it will not only affect that one project, it will affect the entire organization. So I would say that you should resolve the conflict before you get working together, or you should just, if you know you don't have time to resolve conflict, then
Okay. Thank you so much for your answer. Are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you for that answer. I'm sure the person who asked the question probably has a better understanding of what the person was trying to ask. Thank you once again, Ms. Mutiat Olagoke, for this enlightening and educative and informative and insightful section. I have learned a lot personally, and I'm certain all of our viewers have also learned a lot. And I really want to appreciate the sponsors for this webinar series. That's Brainiacs STEM and Robotics, STEMacademy.io, and LetslearnTV. So if you have not subscribed to Let's Learn TV, please do well to click the subscription button now, and also click the bell button beside the subscription button so you get notified whenever we are live with another amazing webinar series. And this brings us to the end of today's section, and I really want to thank our viewers. You know that if you guys are not here, there's really no section. And thank you so much for viewing this section. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for sending your questions. And please do well to join us for the next edition of the Soft Skills webinar series. Do have an amazing day. Bye.